Okay, Gene Zanetti, Wrestling Mindset. Tonight we're going to go over our immediate postseason thoughts. Okay, so what we should be doing right now, what kind of things we should be thinking. First things first, okay, what we have all of our wrestlers do, make a list of the 3 technical areas you need to work on from this past season and 3 mindset areas you need to work on. Okay, the key is deliberate practice. So right now we all have areas that we need to improve. We have to address them. Let's get them on paper while it's fresh in our head right after the season. So 3 improvement areas technically and 3 improvement areas mentally. And then what we have to do there is set a plan. How often are we going to work on these different areas? Okay, so let's say it's leg defense on bottom. So you can't just say leg defense. You have to be very specific. 3 days a week, I'm going to work on leg counters for 10 minutes after practice. Okay, don't just think because you're getting practices in, you're going to just be getting better. You will, but you're going to get much better by having deliberate practice. Okay, so let's put it down on paper. Let's have a very structured plan how we're going to improve technically and mentally between now and next year. Okay, mentally, you should be looking at our program, our Wrestling Mindset program, so we could really work on that confidence, relaxing under pressure, so we don't keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and over. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid technically and mentally. So right after the season, while it's fresh in our head, 3 areas to improve technically, 3 areas to improve mentally, and how exactly you're going to do that. You got to write it down, and there's got to be numbers on the page. How many minutes? How many days a week? What exactly are you going to be doing? Get very detailed and specific. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, lifestyle. Okay, this time of year, you start seeing a lot of people, oh, the season's over, so now they start making reckless decisions with their life. Drinking, smoking, dipping, whatever it may be. And what we're doing there is we're giving our opponents an opportunity to pass us. Well, why not use this as an opportunity to pass our opponents? Or get distance on the people we're ahead of. Okay, a lot of people now are going to say, well, the season's over. Yeah, have a beer every now and then. Or, we could smoke this or we could chew that and all these things. And you got to remember, there's always someone out there. There's always someone out there who's right at your heels that is very close to passing you. And you doing these things, you ask yourself, is this taking me closer to my goals or further away? Make the decision very simple. But is this behavior moving you closer or further away from your goals? Don't use, it's the end of the season to justify yourself. Don't use, well, I'm 18 years old or, these other good wrestlers are doing it. Forget about all that, okay? This is your lifestyle and how you need to live to be a champion. Going out and partying, that's not cool. What's cool? Getting your hand raised. That's cool. Okay, so think about that. And again, while you're doing those things, there's someone out there who's right at your heels, someone that's just a little bit worse than you, that's going to pass you in those days because it affects the quality of your workouts the next day. It lowers your testosterone, lowers your force production, all those things. Look up the studies. Look up tobacco, alcohol, any of that crap. That stuff's lowering your performance. So if you don't care about cancer and you don't care about sickness or disease or anything like that, maybe you care about your athletic performance, your performance out there on the mat. So we're not getting caught up in any of that. So planning, structuring ourselves technically and mentally, having an action plan, how we're living our lifestyle, that's key. A lot of people mess that up now, okay? And working our butts off. We often don't cover preparation maybe as much as we should. I guess maybe it's partially my fault because I always assume people were, preparing the way I was as far as, my life was wrestling when I was in high school and college. But you have to make this your life. You have to break your butt on a regular basis because, again, someone is right at your heels that will pass you. There's always someone out there, no matter how good you are, no matter how bad you are. There's always someone out there. And you can't ever let up off the gas. You got to work your tail off out there. So you keep pushing and pushing and pushing. No one ever looks back and says, I wish I didn't work as hard. Okay, so make sure you guys and girls out there, you wrestlers, you're pushing yourselves. Go as hard as you can. I'm not saying there's not a time to focus on technique. Like we said before, those technical areas, you need to be putting time in, slowing it down. But there's a time to slow it down and focus on technique and another time to step on the gas. Okay, a lot of us A lot of people have taken some time off after the season. Okay, the NCAAs, maybe you still might need to take another week or so off, but your state tournament ended in the beginning of March or February. You better be back on the mat. Okay, you got to be working hard starting right now, because a lot of your opponents who didn't do as well as you, they are back on the mat. Okay, they are wrestling. They have been wrestling since the season ended. So if you want to keep ahead of those people and pass some of those other people, you better get back on the mat. So right around now is that time you should be thinking, get back on the mat on a regular basis, working on the right things like we discussed before, living a good lifestyle, and again, working your tail off. Okay, so let's put that call on hold for a second. Okay, so let's make sure we're doing those things. Wrestling mindset. Stay with us. Take care, guys and girls, wrestlers.